Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and I'm here with author and economic analyst here at WAM, John Sneisen. Now, we are going to talk about something regarding credit default swaps, which is something that I'm a little foggy on, but John knows a lot more about, and we're going to talk about an example here that John has come up with. So, John, what were you saying about credit default swaps that I mean, because this is a fraudulent practice, what we're watching happen here. So can you talk a bit about that?
Well, what is interesting, so let's make a real-life example. Well, it's not really a real-life example, but you say, like, that's ridiculous when I'm going to tell you it. Mm-hmm. So let's say that me and Josh and all our friends, we wanted to, let's say, burn down my house to claim insurance on it, which is a fraud, right? But we're just going to say what is going on there. So let's say that I brought in, we had about 100 buddies, and me and Josh and everybody else, we insured my house. Yeah. And then we burnt it down. So now all of us are getting paid a whole bunch of money because I got my house burnt down, but all of our buddies and me and Josh got paid out as well. Yeah. That's not how it works. It definitely doesn't work at all. You can only insure your house yourself, right? Yeah. And that's the way it is. But the banks have created a very fraudulent derivative, which is credit default swap, where there's hundreds of thousands and even tens of thousands claims on something going default, for example, a sovereign debt or a corporation. And they claim through this credit default swap, it's basically an insurance. They should call it credit default insurance. The reason why they called it credit default swap is because the insurance regulations to get around that. And it was Blythe Masters from JP Morgan that came out with this, actually. She's a lady that we should really take a look at and follow, because she's a big fraud in my point of view. Well, as we said, the credit default swap is a fraud, because how can you insure something hundreds of thousands of times and then everybody gets the claim? Well, what will happen? Well, what can this cause, this whole derivative credit default swap structure? Well, look at what happened with AIG in 2008.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That was the claims. They had so many claims that they couldn't pay all them out at all, and they went bankrupt, so they had to be bailed out. So there you go. That's how a credit default swap worked, which is really insane compared to regular insurance.
Yeah, and it's a good example. One thing leads to another in this kind of scenario, and we've watched this happen time and time again, and there's no sign of it not happening again, because we keep repeating the same things over and over again, the same practices, and it keeps getting more extreme every time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just like getting more and more leverage, and that's where the derivatives came in, because they created a massive amount of leverage, which is 1.5 quadrillion in total scope of the whole derivatives market. So think about that. When a country defaults or a corporation defaults, there will be a massive cascade of events that will happen because of that default. So it's not, when the collateralized debt obligation went south in 2008, well, there was corporations and pension funds going bankrupt all over the world. We had 5 different pension funds in Norway going bankrupt because of the credit default swap collapse and the collateralized debt obligations. So these derivatives are very vicious, they're very fraudulent, and they're very put together in a way to hide things, to bring away things from the books of the banks, for example, mortgages that are bad and so on. And these guys are just committing fraud every day when they...
Well, I'm just so sick. I'm just so sick of hearing this stuff over and over again. We just keep seeing this happen over and over again, and people aren't aware of this kind of stuff because they make it complicated on purpose. I mean, they use these big words, they use these big schemes that are almost impossible to figure out, and they use the people in this kind of sense where they don't understand these kinds of scenarios because they're almost impossible to understand, and that's how they defraud people, that's how they scam people, and that's how they steal people's money, and they're just blind. It's blind robbery, highway robbery. I mean, they're just destroying people's bank accounts, they're destroying people's lives, and they all use this kind of, this kind of outlook on it where, people can't understand it, but it's quite simple when you really come down to explaining it, and we really want people to look into this more and explore World Alternative Media more, because we got a lot more information on this kind of stuff. Check out Stephen Kendal, check out Jeff Berwick at the Dollar Vigilante.
Oh yeah, and stay tuned, because me and Josh are setting up an interview actually with a local guy here that is teaching people about infinite banking and how fraudulent the Canadian pension system is, and the banks, how they operate, and the tax system. So stay tuned for that as well, because that kind of correlates to a little bit to what we were talking about here.
Yeah, and of course, as per usual, we have to say that by law that these are our opinions. We're not giving people exact advice because we don't have that paperwork, right?
Unfortunately,
But it's advice, but it is our opinion. So we have to make that clear for legal reasons. But this is a very important stuff. So many things that we've talked about have unfortunately come true, and we just want people to be safe. So check out our stuff. Try to learn from it and try and keep yourself and your family safe and secure, because this is coming down on us one way or another, and the more we know, the safer we will be. So thank you, John, once again for this little a bit of information, and we will be coming at you with lots more. So send in your questions, send in your comments, and we'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you all very soon, because of course this is just the beginning and it just keeps coming in. The information keeps rolling in. So thank you, John. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.